Welcome back to the So There I Was podcast. This is not a joke. I'm still your host, Travis Womack. I have a little bit of a nice sniffle cold that makes me sound like a frog, but that's okay. We'll be all right. Today's guest is a good friend of mine named Sergeant Major now, Sean Sweeney. Are you Sergeant Major now already? You are?
No. I'm at the academy right now, so
Okay.
hopefully get promoted here soon.
I'm going to round up though. So,
Yeah.
I've known Sean since back in the day when he was a E7. We served together in the old guard and had some good times. So welcome to the show and looking forward to hearing what you got to share and talk about your book for a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Trav.
So your book is Leading While Being Led, Lessons from a Senior Enlisted Advisor. So
Yep.
pretty awesome picture, by the way. You can't see it if you're not on my video because I don't have that. But I'll get video on YouTube one of these days. But man, it's I saw you post about this. Gosh, a couple months ago now. Kind of the coming soon, and I think me and everybody else on your friends list thought you were having another kid. That was pretty funny.
And number 7, no, not happening, man.
Hey, but it was good probable cause for sure. So we had reason to believe. But
I got calls from my mom and dad about that. Like, hey, are you having another kid? Like, Mom, Dad, we would tell you first. Come on.
I think Facebook announcements can go over well. So, but man, let's. I'm pretty excited about having you on the show because we overlapped like 6 to 8 weeks. It wasn't much, or maybe a few more months than that. And so I hope that I'm in part of this. I haven't got to read it yet. I only got the mail the other day, but kind of just like what inspired you to write this as a soon to be sergeant major.
So actually, it happened kind of during the COVID pandemic. I was kind of sitting around, and we didn't really have a lot of time. This is after you left the old guard and everything. But we're kind of just sitting around doing telework a lot. And then I had a lot of time on my hands. And I just kind of took out the little notepad on my phone and started writing down like little things that people have taught me over the years. A lot of things we've all been taught, like the 4 C's: competence, confidence, conviction, and care. We've all been taught those things before: right place, right time, right uniform, doing the right thing. But somebody who's on the outside looking in, they wouldn't really know what those mean. So I'm like, let me just write those down. Then maybe later I'll talk about them. And so I have them for my toolkit later. And then before I know it, I had 5, 10, 20, and I was at 60 at one point of like different little topics. And I'm like, wow, this if I expanded on all these and expound a little bit, I can probably get a little bit more information to these people out there. And I ended up I wrote like one. I think the first chapter I wrote was the 4 C's: confidence, conviction, and care. And I just started writing. I didn't know where it was going to take me. And before I knew it, I had like 1,400 words, 2,000 words. I obviously cut it down for the book. But then I realized that, wow, I can do this for all of these topics, all of these chapters. And I figured it was something that would help out those junior leaders that don't really know the answer, don't really know how to deal with situations that arise for them. And it's more or less like a cheat sheet for them, to say the least. They can just open it up. They can, if they read the book beforehand, nothing will be new to them then, and it'll give them something to base it off of. And then right now, I have another 150 or so chapters I can write on now, just off of stuff people say. I'm like, wow, that's actually very insightful. I'm going to write that down. Then I'm like, I am like fully stocked right now of like 3 more books worth of material. It's just trying to get the time to just trying to get the time to put it on paper now.
Yeah, 6 kids will hold you back on that. I hear.
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus Christ.
So, well, I have to, if you look at some of these titles in the table of contents, I was skimming through these earlier.
Yep.
And there's a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that.
Yep.
But there's a new one here that I was like, I have to ask you about this one.
Yeah.
So chapter 36 has, don't be optimistic or pessimistic, just be realistic.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would love to spend a little time on that one if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do it.
And just the title alone, in our time together, you probably saw that I'm kind of the eternal optimist.
Yeah.
And back then, first sergeant that I had was my eternal voice of realism. And I remember
bring you back down to earth.
Yep. he was really good about that. I talk about that all the time. When I saw the title of your book, I was like, you know what, what Breeden and I had was a pretty unique relationship of here I could bounce really ridiculous ideas to him.
Yep.
And we had a good enough relationship that he could be like, sir, that's the stupidest idea I've heard all day. I'm like,
That's his
all
job,
right.
man.
It's like, all right, appreciate your honesty, and we had like, I didn't take offense to it,
Yep.
but he would always follow it up. And I think it's one of the biggest things is, is what is that follow up? What is that realistic, you know,
Yeah.
if I'm the optimist, like, hey, we can storm the mountain. Of course we can. We don't have shoes, but just regardless, right? And he was the guy like, sir, it's a terrible idea. It's 10 degrees. We don't have boots, and yes, it's not gonna work. So it was just like, but how did we get there to that point where
Yeah.
that relationship's healthy? And it doesn't matter if it's a commander in first iron or any rank. It doesn't matter if you're a team leader and a Joe. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Where do you have the ability to speak?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of what makes a good command team relationship is one of them being optimistic and one of them being pessimistic. Kind of they meet in the middle towards that realistic
Yeah,
thing. But the whole idea behind that chapter was you have all these influencers and all these people need to be you need to be straight up. Hey, we can do this. You can always do these things. You just got to stay motivated and keep at it. And you have other people who are like, hey, man, just you cut sling load and get out of there and stop. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to complete this mission. But none of them are really ingrained in like truth and like actual reality. So when you're getting something, you need to be realistic about your expectations. It's not necessarily that's not going to happen. It's not that it's not going to happen, but you yourself, you need to be the one who actually does some analysis and you actually get like the input from several people and to find out, hey, can this actually be done? And just like you had that breeding, everyone needs someone like that to tell them, like, no, man, that's a dumb idea. Or when someone's feeling down on themselves, you need someone to say, no, you're being too pessimistic. Let's fucking go. You know?
yeah. It's very, very true. And I think that I talk about some of the coaching that I do. There's
Yeah.
when you're being a leader,
Hmm.
is there's you can empower people to do things
Hmm.
all day long, but then do you allow them
Yeah.
to do things?
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah.
that's one thing I did 20 years and you're there as well now. But
Yeah. Yeah.
looking back, it's like, where did I fail in doing that? Where did I
Hmm.
fail you know do people believe they could do something? Because I've always, well, you talk about your notebook, so
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part of my phone too, is my yellow
Yeah.
notes. I'm
Yep.
a big fan.
Absolutely.
I've got some book ideas in there, and people are like,
Oh, you just gotta write that stuff down, man.
you
They just
do,
come to you at like random
they do.
times.
I've adopted two kids, and I want to write this book about adoption. I have ideas, and I'm like, oh, there you
Hmm.
go. I'm at like 9 words, so we're a
Yeah.
long ways away.
Yeah.
but like, it's one of the things I've always had was so my PL from years ago, Ivan Castro, we talked about him before,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
got blinded in Iraq, right?
Hmm.
And he spoke at my OCS graduation. It's the only quote in my entire career at any school I've ever been to that I remember anything.
Yeah.
And he gets up there, and it's the funniest thing in the world. He's blind, and we're in
Yeah.
this building at then Benning, what the new name is. And
Yeah. I don't remember. I think it's Hal Moore, like Moore
oh,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, Cat Moore,
Yeah.
yeah, Colonel Moore, yeah, Fort Moore.
Yeah.
And so we um on the walls are all these quotes and definitions of leadership, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it's just tons and tons of, and it's officer school, so you have to memorize all the stuff and
Yep.
yell to eat chow and whatever, right? And he gets up there and he's like, are we in that same lobby, that same
Hmm.
conference, and all these quotes on the wall? And we're like, yeah. This is in front of all the families and everything. He's like, all these definitions of leadership, and we're like, yeah, he's like, they're all bullshit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the greatest speech ever. And he's like, leadership has nothing to do with your ability to make a decision,
Yep.
but everything to do to train those to make the decision in your absence.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of like if you look at the title of the book, "Leading While Being Led."
Yeah.
I'm never going to be the top dog ever. I'm never going to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It's never going to be my position. I'm never going to be a commander. There will never
Yeah.
be, it'll be command sergeant major, but I will never be brigade commander, division. It's never going to happen for me.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing is like taking that and running with it. Like, okay, I'm not the leader, but I need to get their words and I need to put them into action. So it's not like I'm not the one who's telling everyone how everything's going to get done. I'm the one down there on the ground doing it with them.
Yeah. Well, it's the motto of being an NCO. I mean,
Yeah.
that's essence. And I mean, I love that, being an NCO for 9 years, or
Yeah.
enlisted for 9 years at least. I was in NCO, yeah, most of
Yeah,
it.
and
And
here, no, that's all right.
it's like 7.5 of that. But is looking on both sides of that fence,
Hmm.
is I hope that when I was an NCO, maybe be a better officer.
Yeah.
And but I think the biggest thing that a lot of NCOs struggle with, just in general, is, and this is gonna sound really weird, but how to speak officer.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's because
Yep.
it has nothing to do with a degree.
Yep.
I know plenty of us officers, we have degrees. Some of us have degrees in basket weaving. It doesn't
Yep.
matter, right? So, or screen doors on submarines, it doesn't matter. And
Yep.
but so that part's irrelevant. It's just like, it's how we process information.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I got to see that firsthand. You
Hmm.
and I are both from the generation. Braden was the generation. We were all in the wild, wild west days of Iraq and Afghanistan. So we're young and enlisted, seeing like controlled chaos.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the Army, it always changes every 10 years. It's gonna roll over. And what it is today, and I was talking to right before I got out, I forgot his name now. Oh my gosh. But we were he's a sergeant major, and talk about the unique challenge, because I don't know about you. When did you join?
I joined in 2004.
So I was 03.
Okay.
And so it's like I went from an E3
Hmm.
to an E6 promotable in as fast as the Army will let you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
And I didn't go to it. I went to an E5 board. I got asked one question
Hmm.
in Afghanistan in the middle of nowhere. And
Yep.
that question was, "Oh, Specialist Womack, are you related to the guy at the hospital?" Because on Bragg, or now Liberty, it's Womack Hospital. And
Yep.
I was a kind of a super hua guy, I guess. I don't know, whatever. And
Yeah.
I memorized that guy's Medal of Honor citation.
Hmm.
So I rattled off that citation, and oh, you're good. I walked out. That was my entire
Yep.
E5 board. And
Yep.
I never saw an E6 board. I went
Yeah.
on mid tour leave and came back, and I pinned E6.
Yep.
And that was almost all of us. And but those generation now is that generation is now the battalion sergeant majors.
Hmm.
Like, you're going into it,
Yep.
or they're going out of it. And I've always thought, like, man, the Army's in a unique place of people that we kind of skip schools.
Yeah.
I was an E6 when I went to, then WLC. I don't know what it's called now.
That's kind of done out of necessity. I think like they needed to get those leadership
Right.
positions filled. It looks like, yeah.
And so it was like, we were raised on war.
Yeah.
And now the Army's not so much in that kind of war. And I was like,
Hmm.
how do you lead, and officers as well? Most of your brigade commanders now are that same generation.
Yeah.
So I think puts you in a unique position as far as where the Army's going, and where the NCO Corps takes it.
It does. I mean, it kind of gets it has me a little jaded about the people that I have to stand at parade rest for that are above me, because I know how they got to those positions, or I have my speculations how they got to those positions, and it's different than what gets me to those positions, and
Mhm.
they're requiring certain things of me that weren't required of them, which is a good thing and a bad thing. They're
Yeah,
requiring more education out of us, require us to be more be able to articulate ourselves better, be able to stand toe to toe with your majors and your lieutenant colonels
yeah.
in regard to like tactics and strategy and like organizational leadership. And it makes sense. At the same time, it's like, okay, it makes sense. Is it whether it's fair or not fair?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, and you still got to do it. Yeah,
It didn't happen before, but it's going to happen now.
exactly.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's interesting to see how you get. I look at some of those old sergeant majors from my younger days,
Hmm.
and one, what it's not like crazy folk tale stories. Oh, you
You got
punch him
your
in the
gunny
face.
highways and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
it wasn't like that. It was just a I don't know. There's a fear,
Yeah.
probably a healthy, reverent fear. I'd go with.
Hmm.
And then there's a fine line of fear and disrespect, I think.
Yeah.
But I think there's a good, healthy fear of, like, that guy probably knows where the bodies are at. Let's not piss him
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Right.
But also, that he
Probably
says,
help
"Hey,
bury some of them
when he
too.
says shoot that direction, you don't question,
Yeah.
you just shoot that direction." And I
Hmm.
think that's where that balance kind of can be. And I often look back on wondering what it would have been like to be a sergeant major. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Man,
because
man, I
good.
don't even know. I'm like, I look at it like right now. I don't know if I would be a great sergeant major, but at this point, I'm already set in my ways. I know how I'm going to how I approach people. I know how I deal with people, and that could be a good thing and a bad thing. Only time will tell
Yeah.
when I get into that sergeant major position. But what I will tell you is that all these people that are wasting their time trying to tell me you need to be this way or that way, it's going on deaf ears because I know the type of first sergeant I was, I know the type of operations person I was, so I know what type of sergeant major I can be, and I'm going to try to be the type of sergeant major I want to be or
Yeah.
that I need to be.
You hit a comment that I really gotta ask you about is
Yeah.
I'm pretty set in my ways, you know,
Yes.
and I think that statement runs
Yeah.
rampant,
Yeah.
and and there's some goodness to that. I think there's gosh, who was it that posted it? Oh, it was John Miranda
Yeah.
posted. Do you know John Miranda?
No clue.
He's
No
a
clue.
Ranger Battalion Sergeant Major. He's a the Darby face,
Okay. Gotcha.
and so he and I were E4s together way back in
Okay.
the day, and he posted about um enlisted education,
Yes.
and he's like, he posted
When
pretty
we talking education, are we talking like college education? Are we talking
college,
okay, gotcha. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And because he just finished his master's degree,
Yes.
and and all this stuff, and he's a stud and a half. I love that dude, and
Yeah.
I hate he's getting out because the Army's they need people like him. But
Yeah.
anyways, but he posted this long thing about like the stigma of junior enlisted, E6s and E7s, and
Yep.
it's like, man, the Army's paid for 2 degrees for me. I'm retiring. I've got 2 degrees. I
Yeah.
have zero debt.
Yeah.
It's like I've got friends that are our age that got degrees 20 years ago and they're
Yep.
still paying for them,
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're not doing this, you're a fool. And
100%. Yep.
I was like, yeah, I got my master's degree when I was in command. So
Yeah. I finished my master's in I think it was July or something. I
yeah,
actually started my doctorate
right.
in August or something like that. So it's like I'm not paying out of pocket for any of this stuff.
Oh
Why
yeah,
are you not taking advantage of
it's crazy. And I think that's you know, from my outside looking in,
it? Hmm.
my entire career is, if I could advocate for anything, is for Joe to like, and you weren't there that long under my command, but Matt will tell you, it's like my opening speech, I pulled all the soldiers aside by
Hmm.
rank,
Yep.
it was a whole first day. And I remember talking to him like, look, you've got a crap ton of money for TA. It's like,
Yeah. Use that shit.
I was like, if online classes aren't for you, I get it. It works for me. It doesn't work for
Hmm.
you. It's no big deal. But I was like, if you want to do a class, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 in the morning. Like,
Hmm.
come to my office and ask me. It's like,
That's
I,
that's
I was like,
that's simple.
we can move Manning. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the heart of a deal. If it's a consistent thing, we can make it happen. If it's every single day from 8 to noon, okay, it's a problem.
Hmm.
You can't be a
Yeah. Right.
full-time student, right? Let's
Hmm.
meet in the middle here. But if you want to take a class or two, like let's go. And if you don't, you're a fool. You're an
Hmm.
absolute fool. If you don't leave the Army with an associate's at a minimum, I think more of a bachelor's
At a
at
minimum,
a
yeah.
minimum.
Bachelor. I mean, 4 years. You should probably be,
Yeah.
especially with all the training you get beforehand, the basic training and
Oh yeah.
like BLC. You should be finishing up that bachelor's by the time you
Yeah.
get out.
Yeah. Journalism. So if you're the journalism degree, MOS
Hmm.
is, I think it was like 92 hours of college at University of Maryland.
Oh God,
So like,
that
so you finish AIT and you're already a junior in college.
is ridiculous, isn't it?
I'm like, if y'all don't have a whole bunch of degrees before you penny for your, I don't have the words. So, but yeah, it's funny. I look back on some of that and like, people ask me I get asked all the time, what was my favorite rank?
Yeah,
And when you get out, they'll ask you the same thing, and I think E6 was probably my favorite.
yeah. Mine
Just
was E7. I like E7 more than I like being a
yeah.
first sergeant.
Well, I never got to wear that one, so
Yeah, yeah. I got you.
but
I got you.
if I didn't commission, I was on penny 7 like 2 months later.
Yeah.
But I it was the last time I got to work with soldiers, like
Yep.
directly be responsible for training soldiers, and I
Hmm.
love to train,
Yeah.
and it was so much fun just to vomit information, on guys, and I still have some of those friends of mine. Two of them are Green Berets now, and I never get to
Hmm.
talk to them, but
Yeah.
but they we had a platoon reunion many years ago, and they came to it, and we are all, you get a bunch of infantry guys, a bunch of paratroopers together. The stories are
You revert
vast.
back to your former self.
Yeah, we're all like 19-year-old idiots all of a sudden, and but two of these guys were like telling these stories of like, I went to the Q course and did all this crap, but nothing to this day matches the day that Womack smoked the living crap out of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, when I wrote "Wash Me" on a 240 feature cover, because it was so dusty. I'm like, yep. I was like, I remember that day. That was a good day, you know. And like, I'm like, I take pride in the fact that you remember that. Like, that's your worst day in the Army was the day you learn to clean your weapon forever. And he says on his teams, he's like, man, the guys comment to me, and this is 16 years later. It's like, man, your weapon's always so clean. He's like, man, I had this squad leader that
It
just
wasn't clean. It was going to be a long day.
he almost killed me,
I almost
I was
died.
furious. So, but it's funny. Like I was like, I wasn't like mad. I was just like,
Yeah.
watch me, and it was that silent mad,
Yeah.
where like I didn't yell or scream. I literally wrote "Wash Me" on the feature cover, and we're in Iraq.
You washed it with their sweat. There you go.
And I went to eat, and I came back, and they had toothbrushes. They're like, "Good morning. How are you? Did you check your emails? It good? Okay. Oh crap." It's so great.
And now that would be called hazing,
Oh yeah, now it's probably I'm probably going to jail for it, but I mean it was a little much. IV bags were involved, so it was a lot. It's Iraq, it's 120 degrees outside probably. So it's July, but it was good times. Well, man, this is awesome. I cannot wait to read this book all the way through. It looks like it's a pretty quick read, about 200 pages.
Yeah,
And,
apologize. There's no scratch and snip pictures in there. It's not really a flip book. So
well, if you wanted Marines, you should have put like the sticky crayons.
Well, no, I was going to put it in just single syllable words and grunts and like noises, but they wouldn't allow that for a book.
Get Bluey on there. So, well, this is cool. If you're listening, check it out by all means. The link will be in the description. It's Leading While Being Led: Lessons from a Senior Enlisted Advisor. It's a lot of E's for me.
Yeah, right.
Sean Sweeney. So, man, it's great to catch up for a little bit and kind of just see where you're at, what you're doing. I'm excited if I can help out in any way, form, or fashion. By all means, my phone number hasn't changed in 26 years, and seriously, it's cool. And we'll get you on the show. And you're in the academy right now.
Yep. We're in the third. Well, we're actually in the fourth semester right now out of 5. So we're working our way through right now. And
so, if you're listening, you've never been up to the DC area, never seen the Old Guard do its thing or the cemetery, you're missing out. I was there this past Christmas, and stationed there for 6 years in DC, and it's still a humbling thing just to see the rows and rows and rows and rows of graves and stuff. And so, if you get a chance, if you're a veteran of any sort, by all means, check that out and make that trip. I couldn't tell you more to make that trip and just kind of just take that moment of pause. So, but we'll see you on the next episode, and be sure to subscribe, and we'll see y'all then. Thanks.
Thank you guys. Hey, thanks for having me, Trav. I really appreciate being on here. And hey, pick up the book. Let me know what you think of it. Good reviews are still reviews, and I need them to get better. So go ahead and throw them on there too. Appreciate you.
Thanks.